Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It's Megan Twentyman, the Soft Solutions Brand Manager for the VoIP Solutions. As I did say earlier, please do excuse my voice and no video today. I am down with COVID, like I think half of New Zealand at the moment. So bear with me as we zoom through today's bite-sized webinar. As always, if you have any questions, throw those into the questions or the chat. We will finish with a Q&A. And we've still got people joining us, so we're just going to crack into the webinar and get started. So the purpose of today's webinar is to look at the new 3CX startup product, along with the changes that have occurred in the partner portal that go with that. So just a really quick agenda for today. What is startup? What about you as a 3CX partner and how does that affect you? The partner portal updates, we'll look at some resources and keeping up to date, and then we'll wrap with that Q&A as I mentioned. So let's get going. So 3CX Startup is being hailed as the new frontier for 3CX. You will have seen a sneak peek video and then the product dropped at the start of May 2022. It's currently in alpha, so the details are still emerging. I'm giving you as much information as we have available to us today, and because this is in alpha, things may change. What we do know so far is that it cannot be migrated to other environments. So you start with startup. If you wanted to move to a standalone instance, you would have to start again with that standalone instance. As we all know, Hosted by 3CX was launched in the Australasian region in April, which is just the hosting component. Startup is different, okay? It is the PBX and the hosting all in together. We understand there are going to be 3 editions. There's Startup Free, which will be always free, as in traditional 3CX status. Then there'll be a Startup Pro 10 and a Startup Pro 20. And the difference with Startup is that it's going to be per extension or per user, not per simultaneous call. So why would you look at startup? It's for, I guess, less established partners to get them up and running quickly, but also for our established partners, it will help you with getting customers up and running really quickly. It's designed for smaller customers. Don't despair, Pro and Enterprise aren't going anywhere. They're still there for our medium and large customers. It is a cut down version of 3CX. It's got the key features that customers need. Small customers just need a simple PBX. The free edition, you will not be able to use IP phones with it. So otherwise you'd have to have an SBC. So it's a simpler licensing format. As I mentioned, it's going to be on a per user basis. And a lot of the features are just not needed for those smaller customers. It is a cloud native instance. It is designed for easy configuration. And as I said, it is user-based versus simultaneous call. And it's going to fit into the whole portfolio of 3CX. So Startup Free, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to remain free. It is still in alpha. It's similar to the standard edition in terms of that it's the free entry level. The standard edition free license is still there as a standalone user as well. There are limitations with startup. So 1 SIP trunk, 1 direct dial, 1 ring group. Live chat is included. The extensions are all predefined as 5-digit extensions, and there are no choices on your extensions. So apps only, no IP phones. Headsets are growing, so that's where you're going to see it. It is available now from your partner portal. Unfortunately, there are only a couple of SIP providers and not all of our interop SIP providers are listed as yet while it's in alpha, but that will come. I have gone through the process of setting up a startup just so that I can see how simple that process is. And it literally was a couple of minutes and I was up. I just didn't connect the SIP trunk. So what about Startup Pro? At the moment, it'll be free until all the alpha and the beta has gone through. Partner margins are still to be confirmed, so we're not sure what those are going to look like yet. So Startup Free, as we just mentioned, has just those one ring group, one auto attendant, all those kind of things. When you go into the Pro edition, you can take up to 3 SIP trunks. You've got more direct dials. You cannot use Call Flow Designer, so that is something that you definitely can't use with the StartUP product. And as I mentioned earlier, you can't migrate from StartUP to a standalone instance. So you need to think about what your users are going to require. The StartUP Pro has all those everyday PBX features that we want, including call queues, holiday and business hours routing, call and chat reporting. So it has a lot of those features all within the solution. The other thing that we do know is that multi-tenancy is coming back. So multi-tenancy was last seen in 3CX in around 2014. So they started talking about MCM, which is multiple customer management, and we haven't seen exactly what this is going to look like. It is mentioned in the forum posts, and we're starting to get an understanding that we're going to be able to have multiple clients across one instance. It will give partners more control and visibility, and it'll really help with those little one-man bands or those really small businesses. We will bring you more details on this major change as soon as we have them. What we're still trying to find out is whether multi-tenancy is coming back into the standalone instances or whether this will be held just for the StartUP and StartUP Pro products. So again, we're still waiting to get more information on that. So 3CX Pro and Enterprise remain as you know them. There is nothing changed. One thing you need to be aware of when you're looking at information on the 3CX website, and we're going to have a quick look at that shortly, is that their pricing, which is all still in US dollars, if you've got one tab clicked on, it's actually including your hosting charges in there as well. So we'll have a look at that shortly, just so that that's a bit of a trap for new players. The hosted is available, was released in April for New Zealand, and it uses Volta out of Australia, Sydney and Melbourne hosts there. You can use your own hosting with the StartUP Pro, as well as your dedicated Pro or dedicated Enterprise, just as it always has been. So the differences between Pro and Enterprise have not changed. There's no changes to those editions of 3CX. So what about you, the 3CX partner? The whole purpose of this from 3CX is to make it simpler. As you know, they're always focused on making things more simple and ensuring that the end customer has a really good experience. The idea is it will free up some of your time and your team's resources. The Pro 10 or Pro 20 will be annual revenue, and that will count towards your partner targets. We're just not sure on those partner margins yet. We're still waiting for that information. The StartUP Pro 10 and 20 allows for that BYO SIP trunk plus your IP phones. We're still awaiting more details around that as well. And as I've said, margins are yet to be announced. We'll see what that looks like. So we do know with 3CX hosted that it is a flat 10% partner margin across the 3CX hosted platform, which will start to come into play in 2023. So the partner portal, as they announced all of the StartUP product, I know some of you had access issues trying to get into the portal, and we do apologise for that. That was just while 3CX was updating things, and it did take a couple of days for things to come back. I am pleased to tell you that all the downloads are now back in your partner portal, including the Windows ISO, which was missing. It only had the version 16 one. So we're actually going to zip across into the portal now. Just so that I can quickly show you what that looks like. So just bear with me a second as I switch across to my other screen. Okay, so now you should see our Soft Solutions dummy portal. So this is the main front page. As you can see, it tells you what your partner status is. So this trading account obviously has no revenue going through it because we're not selling it. So it'll tell us that we're an affiliate partner. Also tells you what the requirements of that partner program are and who your distributor is. So the things that are new in here is you've got this quick link straight through to systems. So these are test systems that I have set up. And as you can see, I've actually deployed one of those just to see what that process was like. I haven't connected a SIP trunk to it. And my family are very good at loaning me their email addresses to set up some 3CX trials. So you can still manage your instances from within here. So you can see that this links through to what it is. So it's a startup free, 10 users. You can actually delete or transfer that instance as well, and then it's linked to us as the partner as well. So that comes all off that main systems page. But then your menus are actually out here to the right. So systems we've just looked at. You have a dashboard view, which is the opening view when you log in. The My Account. So this is where you can update your details, you can change your password, you can delete yourself. I'm sure you don't want to do that, but you can make sure that everything's up to date in here. Then the My Company tab, again, is your company details. Sorry, my password manager is trying to save all my passwords again. So this is where you can actually select your distributor. So you will all be set to Soft Solutions. So that's not a problem for you, but that's where you can keep that up to date. You have your portal users. So this is how you link people to your organization and add users. This brings their technical certifications across as well. So if you have new staff, technical certifications belong to people, and you want to link them up so that their certifications are linking against your partnership as well. So it's really simple again, and you can give them different rights. Leads, this is where new leads will come through from 3CX. You can see they've actually classified all my test ones as leads, but this is where they will actually send actual leads from their website. So do keep an eye on the leads within your portal. Orders you don't need to worry about because that's all done through Soft Solutions. You've got a direct link into the forum. You've got your support, so depending on your partnership level will depend on whether you need to buy support or you've got support cases. Just remember that we have free support available from Soft Solutions as well, and you can access that at any time via the VoIP support@softsol.co.nz email address. So you shouldn't need to be buying support. It shows your certifications and the tests and all those types of things on that tab there. Your downloads, this is the one that I was talking about that is now back. And you can see you've got all your downloads there for the system, the SBC, the Call Flow Designer, the CRM template, etc. And at the bottom there, you've got your marketing and sales kit as well, which links out to a new page on the 3CX website. And then your final one there is to log out. So everything that's always been in the portal is still in the portal, so don't panic about that. It's all there and available for you. The other tab that I'm just going to show you while we're here in the portal is the pricing changes that have occurred here on the 3CX main website. So I'm just going to scroll down so you can see it a little bit more. So this is the tab I was talking about at the top here. So you've got hosted or self-managed. So hosted is going to include the startup. Self-managed is going to go back to your dedicated instances. So if we just look at this, for example, we're talking about 10 users, and you'll notice that they have for a little while now used the users rather than the simultaneous call when calculating this, and it breaks it down to a sim call. So if we look at a dedicated pro, this is US retail, remember, 145. If we come back here, the dedicated pro is $245 US. That is including your $100 hosted fee. Okay, same for the enterprise. But this is quite a nice little tool to show you that you can see the differences between the plans. You'll see that it tells you that it's got to come from a partner. You can only get the free ones off their website. So they're going to link you up with your partners. You've got access to the full price list and hosted info, which obviously is all in US retail dollars. The full feature list, when you expand it down, Again, it shows you the comparison between all of the editions. So you can scroll through that. This is a really useful tool in terms of showing people the strength and the power of the 3CX solutions. And this will continue to be updated as StartUP goes through its alpha process. And obviously there's an option there to find a partner, so silver and gold partners and above here in New Zealand shown on that website. So we're going to jump back to the presentation. I'll just find my presentation here on my screen as well. So resources, as we just looked at, we've got the marketing kit from 3CX, and we did run a webinar on that a short time ago, a couple of months back, and all that information is still there, and more information will be added. Their website continues to update on a regular basis. So there's a lot of information there. It's sometimes just being able to find that information and what you need it to be. That product comparison page is a really useful tool as well. Obviously, all the configuration guides and everything is there as well. Obviously, we're here to help you, so do reach out to us. I apologise that I've been out sick yesterday and today, and possibly again tomorrow, but we have got other team members there that are available to help you. Attending these webinars is a massive thing. It really helps you. 3CX are also running webinars regularly, and you will be getting emails about those. So both Yilmaz and Sebastian run those webinars every month about different topics. So again, worthwhile. They usually run them at around about 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, so 4 o'clock New Zealand time. So towards the end of the day, but well worth jumping on board to have a look at those. Keeping up to date is really, really important. Technical trainings, we will be announcing our Q3 dates shortly. Unfortunately, Jordan, our technical specialist, has left us to go to a new opportunity, and we have a new person starting next week who will be coming up to speed very quickly on 3CX and delivering our technical trainings in Q3. So keep watching this space. We're already starting to advertise our June webinar, which will be a joint webinar with Yealink, looking at empowering 3CX with Yealink headsets and the Yealink headsets that interrupt. So stay tuned for an invitation to that webinar coming out shortly. As you all know, we have our regular communications of our VoIP monthly newsletter, our weekly newsletter for anything important, and our LinkedIn group, which is where I post everything first. So that brings me to the conclusion of today's webinar. So thank you for joining us. Happy to answer questions as much as I can. Throw those into the questions or the chat. I'm just going to mute myself for a second because I am going to cough, so just bear with me a second. Sorry about that, and thank you for your patience. Feel free to throw any questions in, and I will try to answer those as best I can with the information that we have. Not seeing any questions coming through at this stage. I'm checking the chat as well. There is a question mark on your screen for the questions if you can't see that, or the chat, and you may have your docking station across. Okay, is StartUP Free only hosted by 3CX? Yes, the StartUP Free is only hosted by 3CX. The StartUP Pro, you will have the option for your own hosting for that. So that will be coming. Thanks, Graham. Yep, I'm hoping I'll feel better soon as well. I've given it to my family, so they're not very happy with me. When would it be appropriate to trial StartUP with clients? I would wait. It is still only in alpha at this stage, and we don't have all the SIP trunks ready and configurable for it. So I would wait before sharing it with customers. I would have a play with it yourself of setting it up. And then once we get to the point where we can actually set up the StartUP Pro with our own SIP trunks, it would be worth obviously exploring that before you start sharing it with a customer. Okay, bear with me. When is it going to be announced for the partner margins, meaning what date? Good question, Jono. Don't know. Once we hear, we will share with you. So again, we are at the mercy of 3CX here, and because the product is still in alpha, I expect that information is going to be a little way away. I haven't seen any announcement of a beta yet. Let me just scroll down. Sorry, there's quite a few questions coming in. Good question. So the question just for everybody is, do we see a value in the StartUP Pro versus just buying a full simultaneous call Pro license? It really depends on your expertise. So for our partners that have been doing this for a very long time, they're probably just going to stick with the StartUP Pro. Where the benefits will start to come in down the track is around multi-tenancy for really small customers. But again, we're still waiting for more detail on that. As you've mentioned there, AWS Lightsail is a very affordable and solid platform for hosting on. So, we expect that to look at it. And as a partner that's really established, you're also going to do things like when you start to see the partner margins, you're going to go, what's the best option for me as well as my customer and for the way we do our business? Can you port your number over to the 3CX StartUP free, or are you assigned a generic number? So my understanding at this point is that it's going to be a generic number with the approved SIP trunk providers. However, it is still an alpha, and I have seen chatter about this on the forum because that's what a lot of people are saying. I guess it's one of those things that when you're a 3CX partner, you want to be selling your customer something, not just the free solutions. So I would obviously still strongly recommend that you are selling the Pro 10 or Pro 20 for the StartUP product, or the Pro or Enterprise licenses for the standalone solutions as well. But again, more information to come. We don't have a lot of that information yet. It's still evolving. I'm spending a lot of time crawling through the forums, just seeing the answers and trying to get a better picture. And as soon as we have more information, we're going to be sharing that with everybody. Okay, I think that might be all our questions for today. Thank you to those that have hung in there while I answered them the best that I can. So, yeah, doesn't look like there's anything else coming in. So thank you everybody for joining us. Again, apologies for my husky voice. I'm going to go and have a bit of a rest this afternoon. I am actually still out on sick leave, but anything urgent, just pop it through to VoIP at softsoul.co.nz or VoIP support at softsoul.co.nz, or our sales team. They're there to help, and I am monitoring things despite being on sick leave, because I wouldn't ever leave you in the lurch. But as I say, more info to come as soon as I get it. The recording of this webinar will be sent out to you tomorrow, 24 hours after the webinar ends. And as we get more information, it'll go into the LinkedIn group first. So if you're not a member, please request to join. The link is in our monthly update, or just flick me a message and I'll send you the link. And we'll get it all up there for you. So thanks everybody, have a great day, and thank you for all your kind wishes. I really do appreciate it. I know many of you have suffered just as I have. But it's not too bad. Thankfully, we have those vaccinations to keep us all strong. So take care, everybody, and we will see you on next month's webinar.